just as we're finishing up, guys, could you both give your worst case and best case scenario about how this would play out? Worst case being, if this carries on with confusion, how bad does inflation get? How low might demand drop in freight markets? And best case being what you would like to happen. Brandon, you want to go first?
Well, okay, here's the doomsday scenario. I hate to go there, but I will. Inflation ramps up beyond even our wildest expectations. People start losing jobs. The rest of the world trades around us. The U.S. is no longer the economic stronghold that it's always been, and Americans suffer as a result. And I think so will the global marketplace. On the other side, a more positive outlook, and I hope that the White House is leading in this direction, is that we bring people to the table. We iron out differences in a constructive manner. We balance things out. You're never going to have complete balanced trade. That's a misnomer. But the reality is that you set things up so that things are more fair. The American worker and the American producer gets a better crack and a better bite at the apple, if you will. And our nation thrives as a result, as does the global economy. I hope that, in fact, happens. And quite frankly, I hope the stock market, continues its upward trend, because I want to retire in a few years. And this is not doing well for my portfolio. So
Nor me, nor me, John.
Look, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to play one on the podcast here. We just put out our forecast for the year and for retail sales, and said sales are going to be up, between 2.7 and 3.7% for the year, but with a big caveat on the lack of clarity on what's going to happen with the tariffs. Again, you've seen consumer confidence has dropped the past 4 months. Our members are starting to notice pullbacks on certain categories. So, we're paying very close attention to the consumer. We've done lots of consumer polling, and they don't agree with the tariff policy as it's going. I think they're very concerned about the impact tariffs are going to have on prices. So, worst case scenario is you really see that consumer pullback, prices do increase. And that's going to have a big impact on the economy overall. If you're going to see demand orders drop. The other thing we talked about here is just the impact of the retaliation. The fact that our exporters can't get to markets overseas. China's basically already stopped, imports of meat, and they've talked about today Boeing parts. They're canceling orders on Boeing parts. So, that has a big impact as well on the economy. As kind of Brandon noted, we've got some of our trading partners that are now partnering together to take action against the United States. We're causing enemies to become friends. So that's a huge challenge as well. As Brandon noted, we certainly encourage this administration to move quickly on getting some of these deals done and show the progress that there's need to come to the table. It has to be more than just the tariffs. But again, we would urge real true free trade negotiations, and for Congress to reassert its authority in this whole debate as well, because Congress has kind of stepped away and just given all the authority to the president. This was the concern during the last administration and this administration.
Yeah.
So, Congress really needs to get itself back in the game of regulating foreign commerce and engaging on tariff policy, setting those rates. Because none of these deals that the administration is negotiating are going to go through Congress. Congress doesn't know what its role is in this right now, but they need to be weighing in with the administration, talking about the challenges this is having for their constituents, both on the import side, the consumer side, as well as their manufacturers and farmers, who are all being impacted as a result of this. End of the day, if we can get these deals and get these tariffs to go away, great. But again, it's going to take time for the manufacturing to return here to the United States. So let's refocus on what is it we actually want to achieve. What are those key industries that we really need to be focusing in on to bring back here to the United States, and kind of go from there.